Something different is happening with you. It is not weakness nor confusion. It is an internal movement that cannot be explained with logic. It's as if everything around you is still the same. But inside you know that you are no longer the same person. If you feel this, you may be experiencing a rare sign of spiritual awakening. This sign does not appear in just anyone. It manifests in moments of transition when the soul begins to remember who it is. When the emptiness of distractions no longer satisfies and a sense of urgency for something deeper, something more genuine emerges. This does not come by choice. It comes by preparation. And only the strongest chosen ones can sustain this kind of transformation. It is not about being better than others. It is about being ready for something that many would not yet endure. The sign is silent but strong. It changes the way you feel, think, and see life. And when it comes, nothing that was once ordinary remains sufficient. You know that you are changing. In this video, you will understand 7 clear signs that indicate this process has already begun within you. If any of them resonate with you, take it seriously. Your spiritual journey is revealing itself. And understanding this can completely change the way you live from now on. I am George. If this topic makes sense to you, subscribe to the channel and activate the notification bell. This content is made for those seeking truth and not superficiality. Following is simple, but it can be the first step towards something much greater. There comes a moment when you look at everything around you and feel that nothing fits anymore. The routine, the commitments, the conversations, the goals. Everything seems to have lost its value. It's as if you are living a life built by someone else. You notice that something has changed, and that change started from within. It is not regret. It is not disdain for what you have built. It is simply clarity. Your consciousness has expanded. Your perception has matured. And now, what once motivated you no longer makes sense. It is not about throwing everything away, but about recognizing that the structure no longer accommodates who you are becoming. You begin to realize that you followed paths out of obligation, to please, to fit in. And now that weighs heavy. What was comfortable has become suffocating. What seemed like success now feels like a prison. This feeling is not failure. It is awakening. Your soul is showing you that the cycle has turned. Even if no one else notices, the goals you set no longer excite you. The places you used to frequent feel empty. And even the conversations that once filled you now sound shallow. This does not make you ungrateful. It makes you aware. When purpose begins to emerge, the old life reveals itself to be too small for what is being born. You try to ignore it. You try to follow the routine as you always have. But something inside you is unsettling. It is subtle but constant. It is as if a silent voice says, "This is no longer you." You may even pretend for others, but you can no longer fool yourself. The soul does not go back once it wakes up. This discomfort is a sign of growth. Your vision is changing, and with it your world also needs to change. Sometimes this happens in silence. Other times it comes with a rupture, but the process is inevitable. What does not change is the fact that you no longer fit in the old life. You begin to want more presence, more truth, more essence. The automatic no longer serves. The urgency no longer convinces. And what was routine transforms into questioning. This discomfort, as uncomfortable as it may seem, is healthy. It is pushing you toward a new cycle, one that is more aligned with who you truly are. Not everyone around you understands. They will say that you have changed, become more closed off, more distant. But the truth is that you are returning to yourself. What they call a crisis is in fact transformation. And all this is part of the process for those who are genuinely awakening. You may not even know what the next step is, but you already know which path you can no longer follow. This clarity, as painful as it may be, is a gift. It is the foundation of the new that will be built. Your soul is alive and it is asking for space, not to return, but to start over. You begin to realize that something has changed in your relationships. Conversations that once flowed now seem forced. Laughter that used to make sense now sounds empty. It's not that you have stopped loving these people. It's that the frequency has changed and you feel, even without being able to explain, that you are speaking a language that not everyone understands. This disconnection can be silent. There are no fights, no explicit hurt feelings, but there is a growing distance, almost invisible. And this hurts because these are people who have been with you at other times, important people who were part of your journey. But now, no matter how much you try to stay close, something feels out of place. It is natural to want to hold on to these connections, to try to keep everything as it was. But the truth is that bonds also have cycles. And when your soul begins to awaken, not everyone will be ready to keep up. Some relationships were important for who you were, but they do not sustain who you are becoming. You are not rejecting anyone. You are simply respecting your process. There is a phase of awakening in which loneliness becomes inevitable. Not because you want to isolate yourself, but because your inner self is asking for silence, truth, presence. And this is not always possible in environments that still live on autopilot. The pain of distance can generate guilt. You wonder if you're being cold, ungrateful, strange. But over time, you realize that it is not you who is pulling away. It is your energy that is asking for space. You are cleansing yourself from the inside. And not everyone understands or respects that. And that's okay. Not everyone who started with you will finish with you. And this needs to be accepted with maturity. Some connections end without guilt, just with awareness. And when you understand this, you stop forcing encounters that no longer nourish you and begin to make space for the new to present itself. The distancing, as lonely as it may seem, is also fertile ground. In this interval, new people emerge, people who understand you without needing you to explain, who vibrate on the same frequency, who look into your eyes and see truth. These new bonds do not negate the old ones, but show that your journey continues in a different way. You do not need to justify yourself to everyone. Those who truly love you will realize that your search is not against anyone. It is for yourself. And those who do not understand now may understand later. Your role is not to explain yourself all the time, but to respect yourself. Even if this costs you some distance, this realignment in relationships is not a sign of loss. It is a sign of advancement. When the soul grows, it removes what does not keep up and attracts what adds to it. You are not becoming alone. You are being repositioned. You are creating space for the connections that truly walk with your purpose. Do not be afraid of this phase. The solitude of awakening is not a punishment. It is a bridge, a path between who you were and who you are becoming. And on the other side, you'll find people who not only stay but walk with you side by side. In truth, everything feels more intense. Common sounds annoy you. Crowded environments drain your energy. Even everyday conversations become tiring. You start to realize that what used to be normal now weighs heavily. And it is not because you are fragile. It is because you are more sensitive. Your spiritual field is more open, more awake, more selective. It is not about being finicky. It is perception. You feel more than others. You pick up on the intention behind words, sense when the environment is charged, and notice the emptiness disguised as joy. This sensitivity is not a flaw. It is a sign that your consciousness is expanding. And the more it expands, the more the superficial becomes exhausting. You start to avoid crowds. You feel a need for silence. Excess stimuli irritate you. You do not want to isolate yourself, but you can no longer tolerate living with so much noise. It's as if everything outside is moving too fast, and you need some time to truly breathe. This overload can be confusing. Sometimes you think you are becoming strange. Other times you think you are becoming anxious. But that is not it. It is your soul asking for lightness, asking for a clean environment, true presence, and conscious pauses. It can no longer handle the pace imposed by a distracted and noisy world. You become more selective with whom you talk, where you walk, what you consume. Even the content you used to watch starts to lose meaning. It is as if your inner self creates a natural filter, a type of spiritual protection that says, this no longer serves. You start to respect this filter and take better care of where you place your attention. The people around you may not understand. They may think you are distant, disconnected, or even stuck up. But you know you are just trying to maintain your peace. And in this process, you realize that you do not need to explain everything. If something does not do you good, it does not need to remain. This sensitivity also brings you closer to the essential. You start to reconnect with what is simple, yet true. You value a sincere conversation, time alone, a song that touches deeply. The superficial has lost its appeal. Now you seek meaning, and the world as it is can no longer offer that. It is shocking to realize that the lifestyle that so many advocate no longer serves you. Working without pause, consuming without thinking, running without direction. All of this now sounds like distant noise. Your soul wants something different, and this change of pace may be frightening, but it also liberates. Over time, you understand that this overload is a call, a sign that it is time to simplify, clean, and reduce.